What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Nerd Locker podcast. I'm Brandon.
I'm Patrick.
And I'm Jimmy. And before we get started, let's have a moment for our sponsor, Maximum Comics. If you're in Las Vegas, stop by one of their 4 locations and definitely check them out at MaximumComics.com.
That was great, Jimmy.
That was
Thank
very
you, man. I'm
good.
practicing.
Jim needs to have a secondary career as a voiceover, movie guy. He just sounds like perfect for that stuff.
I have got the face for it.
You should next time you you have to ground one of your kids. Be like, well, you're going to your room.
In a world where you break my rules.
All right, guys. So last week, Game of Thrones season finale. I know you guys both watched this because you didn't have to go to a theater to see it. So what'd you guys think?
Pretty much. I definitely I dug it, but I mean, after the initial shock of the episode itself, I don't know if I overanalyzed it or started analyzing it, but I've got some things to say about this. What about you, Jim?
Yeah, I've got to agree. I mean, when it ended, it was like, oh my God. But then as I analyzed the episode, there were some things that were like, wait a minute, where the hell's Gendry? We never saw him in that final episode. There was just little things here that, made you sort of analyze the whole season where, like, okay, and then the more you went online, or more I went online, and just kind of saw more and more holes, which I think we're going to talk about. And overall, I really enjoyed this episode, and I enjoyed the season. But definitely there were things that made me think more about what I had seen versus when I actually saw it the first time.
Yeah, I definitely.
I want to just get out there and say, before we even start, the inconsistencies and everything, I have been waiting for this to happen since the very first season. But, oh, by the way, guys, this is going to be full of spoilers. So if you haven't watched it or don't watch it or just skip this whole thing, because we're probably going to be talking about Game of Thrones for most of it. But I've been waiting since season goddamn 1 for Littlefinger to die. I wanted to rewind it. I was like, can we go back? And Cubby's like, no, we're watching the fucking episode. I was like, just please, please. I just want to see it again. That piece of fucking garbage. Oh man, that was great.
Yeah, but hands down, I think that was my absolute favorite moment in the whole entire episode was watching Littlefinger get his, because you got to understand, Littlefinger's responsible for this whole entire thing. I mean,
yeah, he stopped Ned from, making sure Joffrey didn't get on the throne because he's a fucking bitch. Hate him.
Yep, and he's the one that gave, the cutthroat the blade, and he's the one who told Catelyn Stark that the blade belonged to Tyrion. So he started the whole beef between the Lannisters and the Starks. I mean,
yeah.
It was the best thing. And so I don't know if you guys got this sense, but I did when, leading up to that scene, you have Sansa say, "Come, go get my sister," and Arya walks into this room, and I'm thinking oh my God, she's gonna kill all these fuckers.
Oh, I was 100%. I didn't think for a second she was in trouble. I was like, she's gonna murder everyone.
Exactly. Everybody's going to get it. And she just walked into the room like John Wick walks into a room. You're going to die first. I'm going to stab you with a pencil here. I'm going to slit your throat here. And she's like, shall we begin? I'm like, oh, bitch, this is one bad bitch right now. She's getting ready to get down. And then we have the reading of all the charges. And then she just turns and says, Lord Baelish. And I was like, fuck yeah, Sansa. Fuck yeah.
Finally.
So, finally, because I think we can all agree we were worried that Sansa was just going to be an absolute bitch and turn into a paranoid Cersei of the North.
The way Baelish acted out, it was perfect, pleading his case to Sansa, pleading to anybody who would listen. And then Sansa answered back with, well, you murdered my aunt through the moon hole or whatever.
Yeah,
you sold me off to the Boltons. And then Bran pipes in, which is awesome because I'm not the biggest Bran fan. I don't care about the Three-Eyed Raven other than the powers, but like whatever. But finally, it's like, yes, Bran, you came through. And we're like, well, what about the time that you put your knife to my dad's throat and betrayed him? It's like, yeah.
And Littlefinger's looking around like, what the fuck are you guys like? How do you know this shit?
Exactly.
So perfect. And it was like, oh, Baelish, you're done. And he, you know, for the first time, he really appeared weak and not in control. And it was fantastic.
Oh yeah.
It was even
was
better
awesome.
because he begged to not die, and I was like, good, you fucking beg, you piece of shit, fucking sick of shit. I was like, oh, beg harder. I want to hear you cry,
Yeah.
bitch. It was
Yeah,
so good.
exactly.
Well, Sansa, I mean, it's funny because in the show, I mean, the whole thing with Joffrey and you always think Sansa is just a fucking, like, she's just the worst, and you really don't start getting sympathy from her, or you don't start getting sympathy for her until, you know, she gets stuck with the Boltons. But if you read the books, it gave me a different perspective because you get to see her, like, internal monologue of being like, I just need to survive. Like, I'm doing this because I need to survive. I don't want to do this, but I have to make sure I don't die. So when she starts acting shitty again, you're thinking, like, did you learn nothing? Like, are you serious about this? So when she calls, you know, go get my sister, you're thinking, like, come on, are you kidding me with this shit? Like, but I do think the whole, I mean, don't get me wrong, the whole three-eyed raven thing is hard for anyone to believe, I guess. But I'm glad that they came around to it. Like, he was probably like, well, I mean, I think the fact that he was like, I saw you got raped on your wedding night. Like, she's like, all right, well, that happened, and I don't know how you know that, but I'm going to trust what you say.
Yeah,
well, that's one of my favorite parts, and I don't want to talk about the whole part, but one of my favorite parts is when Sam goes to Bran, and Sam goes, oh, hey, and it's like, I'm the three-eyed raven, and Sam gives this look like, oh, cool. I don't know what that is. And I'm like, finally, somebody who just admits instead of trying to go along with, oh, okay, whatever, weirdo. I thought that was hilarious.
Well, no, that was the other scene I wanted to talk about. Is he tells everyone he's the three-eyed raven, and people are like, "What the? I don't care or know what that is." And he's like, "Hey, how's Beyond the Wall?" And he's like, "I'm the three-eyed raven now." And Sam's like, "Oh, cool. Can you look something up for me?" And he's like, "Yeah, give me a second." Like, yeah, like Sam's just like, "Oh, okay. Well, that's cool."
Google. Can you see? You know,
he is the Google of Game of Thrones right now. That is what Bran is. But I thought that was. I have to say, you know, I'm one of the people in the group of friends that watch Game of Thrones that is not down for the Jon and Daenerys fucking because they're related. And I thought they did an extra creepy job of showing us them boning as you find out they're related. Like, I was like, oh, stop. Oh, no.
You know, Peter Parker's sitting there watching and go, wow, I can do that with my aunt? Okay.
Oh, stop. Dude. No. Why? Well, I did want a scene where he's like, we have to be the ones to tell Jon, and then have like one eye go white, and he's just like, oh God, we're too late. Like, that was really... That's really what I was hoping for. He's like, we got to tell Jon that's his aunt. Oh, fuck. Oh, we fucked up.
Never mind.
He's like, you know what?
So, let's just not.
Yeah, exactly. That's funny.
Well, I mean, there was so many good scenes in the season finale, like the whole parlay type scene between Cersei, Daenerys, and Daenerys' group. One of the most powerful scenes I thought in the whole thing was the fact that you have the Hound and the Mountain kind of face off. I thought that was absolutely amazing because Sandor comes up to his brother and is like, you know, they're not coming for you. You know who's coming for you. You know who's always been coming for you. And I'll see you again, brother. And I was like, dude, he is out for this guy's ass.
Oh, well, like he goes, you're uglier than I am now.
Exactly.
I mean, Cersei is such a fucking pain in the ass. Like, when that, when the fucking zombie, or is he a White Walker? No. They're just like the reanimated dead, right? Or are they
Yeah,
considered
yeah,
White
yeah.
Walkers because they're
Yeah.
regardless,
Army.
that thing comes running for her, and she looks like she's about to shit her pants. And then she's got the balls
Mhm.
to be like, "Fuck it, we're not actually going up there." I'm like, even Jamie is like, "Are you out of your fucking mind?" Like, he's like, "Dude,
Right?
a dragon flew in, and then I saw that, and this day has been way too much for me. Like, I'm fucking over it."
Exactly. He's just completely over it. And I definitely love the fact that Cersei is so power hungry and so blinded by that power that she's like, nah, we'll be all right. We'll be good. Don't worry about
He's
it.
he's like, "No, we won't." Like,
Yeah.
and then she goes, "You didn't hear me scream." It's like, no, but you look like you were like saying goodbye. You were like, "Nope, this is it.
This is it.
I'm gonna die now."
Exactly, and then even with the Daenerys entrance of the actual thing, when she comes in on the dragon, she's trying to look unimpressed. I'm like, I'd be kind of impressed, bitch, because
Everyone was impressed, and she's just like, "Nah, whatever." It's like, no, 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 no. That's a dragon.
No, that's what she's like. You're late.
yeah, you're late.
It's like,
But
what?
inside, like
Just saw a
she,
dragon.
there was a deleted scene where she changed her clothes because it was just full of shit.
Piss.
She's like,
She's
that was the
just-
worst. That was the worst 20 minutes of my life.
Exactly when she changed. So give props to Peter Dinklage on the scene walking into Cersei's room or
Oh,
into
man.
Cersei's chamber. I mean, I kept telling my friends, I was like, why he walks so slow, right? It's because he's dragging his balls, those ginormous balls of his, as he's walking into that office because that took some mad balls to just go like, okay, I know. And he's even talking to her brother about it. It's like, she's tried to kill me twice that I know of, and I'm about to step into this office. I was like, holy shit, Tyrion.
When she finally tells the mountain to stand down and he just drinks the whole glass of wine, I was like, yeah, dude, me too. Like, I'm right there with you.
Yeah,
Well, I
exactly.
think that's what is good about the show is they've built up. Like, I think we all were like, well, they're not going to kill Tyrion, but we didn't know 100% sure that they weren't going to kill him.
I'm ready for everyone to die. I have no. Every episode, I'm like, this could be the last time I see him. Like,
Right.
after the Red Wedding, I'm just like, everyone's on the table. So enjoy them while they're on TV.
Yeah, and then that kind of leads me into the whole fan service theory of the last two episodes. Like Tyrion's scene with Cersei when she walks into Cersei's chamber. We all expected Tyrion to die. Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe you guys didn't, but everybody I talked to was like, "No, Tyrion's dead. He's dead."
Oh no, I thought 100% he was gonna get cut in half. Like,
Yeah, it was going to be brutal, and all kind of hell was going to break loose, and we were just going to get a big clusterfuck at the end. Plus dealing with the stuff that's going on in the north, but it didn't happen. So we go to the next scene where we have like Jaime Lannister and Cersei face off in her chambers again, or in the map room, right? After Cersei's already pledged her allegiance and saying like, okay, we're gonna fight this whole army of the North. I mean, granted, I didn't believe her because it's Cersei and we all know how she is, but part of Jaime did. And he's after his whole episode with Brienne, he's on the side of right. Like, he really wants to do what's right or what he believes is right. And having that scene,
he loves his family. Like, he loves like, the one thing is he's loyal to his family, but he's understanding. Like, he's more realistic. He's not
right?
he like where Cersei is just like, I'm gonna sit on this throne and I don't give a shit. He's like, dude, they have dragons. Like, I mean, he was in a battle with a dragon.
Dothraki.
You know what I mean? Like, he's just exactly the
Right.
Dothraki, and he just saw a reanimated corpse charge at his sister. Like, he understands that this is bigger than that.
Well, he's also gotten some key information this year with finding out for sure Tyrion did not kill Joffrey.
Right.
And then the conversation along those same lines, the conversation with the Queen of Thorns and having her point out how evil Cersei is and making him realize you're on the wrong side right now.
Yeah.
You really need to think about this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I definitely agree on that one. And then, especially after that one particular scene with the Queen of Thorns was when Cersei finds out that he met with Tyrion, and she says, kind of backhand threatens him, and says, don't ever go against me again, or don't ever, whatever, go, yeah, basically go against me again. And he's kind of like, what the fuck? I mean, you just told me you're pregnant with our child. Um, I'm trying to protect you as the mother of my child, because all of his kids are gone, and you're gonna do some dumb shit like turn around and backstab uh, John and Daenerys in this process. And he even says it. I think the one point that got to him was when Brienne like grabbed him by the arm and was like, "Fuck loyalty. This is about staying alive."
Yeah.
And he had to come up. He was faced with a hard choice there. He's like, I go against my sister or stay alive.
And yeah, I think that's where he's at with it. You know what I really enjoyed about that scene though is you don't. It's the first time a lot of those characters have all been in the same room together, and you realize the history that they all have with each other. Even though sometimes like some of them are meeting for the first time, but there's other characters that have met the other players, and it's like everyone's just standing there. Like you kind of forget about Brienne and the Hound, and then they talk about like she's like, oh, Arya can take care of herself now. Like
Yeah.
and you see the Hound smile, like fuck yeah, like she made it. Like
Oh, that was a great interaction.
Yeah.
I was just trying to protect her.
yeah,
I was like, oh my god, I love you too.
yeah, that was awesome. But I mean, yeah, and then you kind of remember it's like, oh shit, like yeah, Brienne and Jamie spent some time together. That's where Brienne got her sword from, and I just thought that was really cool because I'm rewatching it with one of my friends, and they're only at the second season right now, and we just hopped into where they were at, and I'm like, I forgot about so many of these people, and like,
Right.
it's gotten so crazy that like you forget everything a lot of them have been through.
It's funny you say that, Brandon. Alice and I did the same thing. We started from first episode, watching it through. We're almost the same point at season 2, where they're all like Harrenhal. It's a big one, and Baelish. It's unbelievable how much Baelish is in bed with the Lannisters from the beginning, and I just
Yeah.
Yeah.
never noticed until now he's dead. And you're like, holy crap, that dude was with the Lannisters the whole time. Ridiculous.
Well, the part I got to was when Brienne really first shows up, and she originally is pledging herself to Baratheon, and then
Yeah.
Baratheon dies, so Renly, and then she, after that she promises Caitlyn that she's going to protect her children, and then she ends up with Jaime. So it's like she forges all these different relationships, and I think that's part of too what like her grabbing. Her grabbing Jamie, because she's like, listen, like I've seen just about every side of this, and we are now at a point that this is beyond us.
Yeah. Exactly. So
That
I
was
mean,
another cool one that was very minor, but Podrick. Like, you
yes.
just forget that dude has been with everybody, and you're like, oh my god, that is so hilarious. He's just chilling out because he was obviously with Tyrion, Ron. It's just awesome.
And now Brienne, so he's like just
He's another one that has seen a lot more than you really notice because he's not one of the main big characters. Like he is, but he doesn't have like the same scenes everybody else has.
right.
But
So
he's kind of always there.
the funny thing is like I was talking to another friend of mine in regards to the whole theory of the three heads of the dragon.
Mhm.
Okay, and you guys might trip out on this one. Is there's in the beginning when the Targaryens first came to Westeros, there was three of them, right? There was the two brothers, the brother and the two sisters and stuff like that. And one of my friends brought up was that she was saying that Tyrion may be the third Targaryen. Now,
I've talked about this theory with Covey, so yeah, go on.
yeah. So because he's the only one that didn't get eaten by one of the dragons during while they were across the narrow seas, he was the only one that didn't get eaten by the dragon. That, and on top of that, was that Tywin Lannister, his father, always referred to him as I had to take care of you. I am in charge of taking care of you because his wife had an affair with somebody they don't know. I think she mentioned that she had an affair with one of the Targaryens,
I
and
heard the rumor that it was the Mad King.
Yeah,
it was the Mad King. Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the well,
that's
because
the
the
one.
Mad King was always sending Tywin back to Castle Rock and on all these missions as his hand. Like he was
Yeah,
always trying to keep him away from King's Landing. And
yeah,
I mean that's something too that much more discussed in the book. They don't get into that in the show at all, but
that's
um
true.
and-
So there's a
yeah, no,
possibility.
that's a big big possibility.
Right? And I think that that might be somewhat true, because after looking over the previous seasons and the fact that he didn't get eaten and the fact that he's, so close to with Daenerys and the succession scene, I don't know if you guys remember that for episode
Yeah.
6, where he's worried about who's going to succeed on the throne. And I don't think it's out of personal interest, but I think it's because of his like or affection towards Daenerys, but at the same time, it could be him. You
Well,
know,
that's a great example of the current writing for Game of Thrones, and by that I mean there's no book to base it off at this point.
right?
Where we're going to throw this nugget out, and it really doesn't mean anything right now. It's just a conversation, but clearly it's going to have meaning next season.
Yeah,
And it's one of those things where I'm like, oh man, what were you getting at, Tyrion? You've got something bigger. What's going on?
right, right.
No, well, that's the thing too, is there were a lot of things that are left up in the air that I'm wondering
Mm,
how I mean, it's only 6 episodes, but I'm assuming 6 episodes are going to be like an hour and a half each because there's no
yeah,
way you're going to just fucking take this show that a majority of the fucking world is obsessed with and just shit out quick 6 hour episodes. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, yeah. I think that they're going to be an hour and a half to 2 hours each. So we're going to get a lot in these 6 episodes. Even though we have to wait like a fucking eternity till we get them.
a year and a half, I think. I think it's next
Next
fall
April.
or next April. Yeah.
Yeah, next April. Well, and then here's the thing: that they're in the can. They're already in the can. They're already done. You
Oh,
know.
you think they're done being filmed and everything?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure they're done being filmed because I've seen some set photos and some other pictures that were done, battle scenes and things of that nature that weren't in this current season. So part of me is thinking that this has already been a done deal for a while. Um,
I thought
and
I'd read too that they filmed this season at the same time as the last season, and that's why this season got pushed back.
Uh,
it
well,
was,
they pushed
it,
back this season so they could film during the winter.
yeah,
But that's what I mean. They were filming it all concurrently. That's
yeah,
what I'd read or heard somewhere. I mean, that's why I was a little confused at the
yeah.
2019 or whatever.
Well, I
And
mean, it's HBO, and I think they're just milking it personally,
They did it with
um,
The Sopranos.
right?
yeah, well, now we're gonna get Westworld next, like this coming fall or this coming spring, and then
Yep.
we won't have that for another year, and then we'll have it the year after the Game of Thrones year.
Right, right,
Fucking wasting my goddamn time, HBO.
You're gonna be
right.
old, Brandon.
Yeah,
Fucking
exactly,
bullshit.
exactly. So I mean, there were that. There was, I mean, I don't know. Like you have this whole juicing and milking of the actual season, and then you do have some serious plot holes going on with this season 7, especially this final episode. You know, like Jim, you mentioned it yourself, Renly. Like, where the hell was Renly? What happened to Renly? Uh, we
Oh, with
don't.
Gendry?
Gendry, sorry, Gendry. You see, no Gendry. We have there was an article out that stated that there was a scene cut before the Littlefinger trial scene, which explained out how Sansa and um, Arya ended up not killing each other, which was basically Sansa going to Bran and using Bran as her own personal
As Google. Yeah.
as Google, or slash her own personal CCTV, and asking him questions on like, well, what's really going on, which I was hoping for, and I kind of like that was the logical step for me. After hearing all this, all these rumors and bullshit, I was like, all right, let me go talk to the guy who probably sees everything, who has seen everything, and see what's going on.
Well, also, she was more likely to believe him because she's like, I take people's faces and become them. So,
Yeah,
yeah, you're Google now.
yeah. Well, okay. And on top of that, just to harken back to the to the Littlefinger scene, the first thing out of my mouth after Arya cut his throat was like, "Take that motherfucker's face." I was like, "Take his face." I was screaming at the TV, like, "Take his face."
She might. I mean, you don't see him not do it. So, yeah, if we see
Yeah,
him show back up, it's
Those
like,
brothers
oh, fuck.
yeah,
didn't hit his face. But I really wish they'd kept that scene in from what I read about it, because one of my problems with the Arya Sansa storyline was a lot of this setup took place without Littlefinger present.
right,
So it was like you're playing to the audience. You're not setting up Baelish because he can't see this. You're setting us up as an audience, and that's crap. That's not
right.
good writing. But I think if they kept that scene in, it would have shown no, they weren't setting anybody up. Sansa really didn't know. She really needed answers.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that was, and another thing that another female friend of mine brought up was Daenerys in this final season, or just in the season as a whole. She was like not very impressed by her, and for me, I was like, wait a minute, you're talking about my homegirl here. What are you saying? Give me some validity to what you're saying. And she makes a really good point. So her point was that every chick, every major woman character in Westeros has gotten their hands dirty in some way, shape, or form, right? Even with Sansa, even with Sansa being stupid, but at the same time, learning the ropes, learning the game, quote unquote, the game itself. She learned it, whereas Daenerys comes into Westeros as a foreign invader, as far as they know, because it's been 20 years since the Mad King has died. Everything is fucked up, but nobody's worried about dragons and being burnt to a crisp. And she's stomping her feet and saying like, "I'm the rightful king," but I'm the rightful heir to the Iron Throne, but hasn't done anything.
No, she
To
just takes over because her son, like, fucking was like, nope.
Yeah,
I mean, don't get me
you
wrong.
know,
If my, mom killed Natalie Dormer before I could have sex with her, I would probably jump out the window too. Like,
right. So like you have Daenerys, who John falls for, but you got to look for what John went from. John went from Ygritte, who was a bad bitch all the way across the board,
dude, she was a bad bitch. She was the fucking
right?
the best.
She was.
Let's remember that scene in the cave. She was also dirty.
Hey,
Hey,
like
dude, no, I get it. Like he was like,
I
I'm
get it
about
exactly.
her. I'm about her. He was so about her. He married her in real life. Like that's how
Yeah.
about he was with her.
Yeah.
Right. So
He
that's
said cut, and he was like, I want to keep hanging out with you.
yeah. Oh yeah, I want to keep hanging out with
He's
you.
like cut. He's like, are you sure she's dead? Could she come back?
Exactly. So, going from how do you go from somebody like Ygritte to a Daenerys who really hasn't done anything to show that she's down? I mean, granted, she has dragons, but if you take all the dragons away, what do you have?
Well, she's been. It's weird because there's definitely points in the last couple seasons that you're sitting there and you're like, dude, I get you want the throne back. It's your family's, throne. It's your birthright. But, even Tyrion is like, you need to calm down. And she's like, no, fuck you. And it isn't until she goes and saves everybody beyond the wall and her dragon gets killed that she realizes, like, oh shit, like,
Yeah.
everybody's not wrong the way they've been talking to me. And it really takes John to be the one for, because John stands up to her and John's like, no, like, this is what I need and this is what's important. And then she sees it and she's like, she doesn't even ask him to bend the knee. You know, she's like, I'm going to fight with you and we're going to defeat this. And then he's like, well, now you're my queen. You know what I mean? Like, it was kind of I think John helped balance her out. You know, even when she was like, what would you do? And he was like, why are you going to do more of the same if you're trying to change the world? Like, you can't just go in and be the mad queen or be the second mad queen or be like your father. You know, it's
Right. And that's true.
I think, I mean, this isn't for John because he didn't know this happened, but the one scene that still sticks out in my head for Daenerys, and this was last season, I think, when she torched the other old Khaleesi's whose husbands had died.
The calls.
oh, yeah.
Destroyed that motherfucker, and it was like, oh my god, Daenerys just doesn't give a fuck.
Oh no,
Right.
she's hard. She
got
She's
dirty.
hard.
That was definitely, she's a badass.
Oh no, like but I think she definitely had that like that aggression, you know, because even when Tyrion's like, "Yo, you can't just go do this shit because if you die, what do we all do?" And she's like, "I'm not gonna die," and he's like, "You don't know my family. My family's insane." Like that's what he says. He's like, no, like. She's like, nothing's gonna happen. He's like, no, something might happen. Like, my sister's a fucking crazy bitch. My dad tried to have me killed. Like, you need to sit down and think about this.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the thing, right? Is like Daenerys needs that balance, and like you said, John balances her out, like in regards to that, because thank God she was raised by Ned Stark, you know, because he is the quintessential Ned Stark. He is Ned's son.
Oh, even at the meeting when he's like, I already bent the knee, and everyone's like, can you just lie, you piece of shit? And he's like, no, I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
That was awesome.
That was great. That was the shit. And that was another one where she there was a meme where they took a picture of her face, and it's like, you've never been so stupid and hot at the same time, John.
Yeah. It's true, because you know John's speech afterwards, he's like, if we keep lying to each other, words won't mean anything. And I was like, man, that is a really Ned Stark thing to say.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, that is something Ned would do. And each son, like Rob, was like Ned in regards to his prowess as a combat, you know, genius, and being able to figure out what the enemy's going to do. Because remember, Ned was one of Rob's generals during the rebellion, Robert Baratheon's rebellion. So, you know, he had to know his stuff backwards and forwards. But I think character-wise, Jon Snow has got to be the closest thing to Ned Stark, because he's honest. Even after he said that, he's like, I know I fucked up. I'm sorry I fucked up, but I had to say that.
Yeah, he's like, exactly what you said, you know, where he's like, if we just keep lying, what does it fucking amount to?
Yeah, exactly. So I think that makes me feel like he's going to make it all the way to the Iron Throne, because he's the South and the North all in one.
Oh, I definitely think she's dying, but the cool thing is that if they decide to, you know, do the incest thing and just get married, it works out either way. You know what I mean? They'll be king and queen, and it's not a big deal. I mean, it's a big deal to me because they're related, and I still think that's gross, and I hate that I have so many friends that are, like, excited to see that. And everyone's like, well, it's just how they do things. I'm like, it doesn't make it right. Stop. Awful.
Well, they talk about that in the DVD extras, you know, on how the Targaryens get down. That's how they get down. It's just
that's why it was the Mad King, because he was not right in the head.
Yeah, because he was a product of incest, so that's why the Mad King was mad. Now, the fact that John's John's mother, I'm sorry, and Daenerys' brother turned around and got together, that was like the first time we see anything outside the lines of the Targaryens, you know, actually happening. And, you know, that's the reason why John's all fucked up. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see what happens next season, because now we know who John is. We know who, what he could be, and how that's going to play out is going to be really, really interesting because we've got, you know, Bran saying he has to know. So if he tells John, John being the forthright and honest type person that he is probably going to tell Daenerys, like, hey, we can't do that because I'm your nephew.
I mean,
And
I would hope so, but I have too many disgusting friends who are like happy about this.
oh man,
But
so
it's funny. I read a fan theory that
mhm,
goes back to John being uber honest, and Tyrion is
mhm,
one of the ones that approaches him. Maybe you need to learn to lie every once in a while.
Yeah.
right,
And there's a fan theory that goes more to that look that Tyrion has on the boat as
mm,
I
Daenerys is
wanted to
on the
talk
boat.
about that.
okay,
And is this? Did you read this fan theory?
No, I didn't read
no, I haven't.
anything about. I want to know what your guys' thoughts were on his stare when
This was
he hears
this was
them
interesting
fucking.
because at first I'm like, well, why would he be jealous? That doesn't make much sense. But it goes back to when he was talking to his sister, and it starts real tense. Is he going to die or not? But then it reaches a point where they both kind of admit that they're all about family,
Mhm,
and Tyrion realizes she's pregnant, and he had just said, "I loved those kids," meaning Tommen and Marcella,
mhm,
more than you could possibly imagine. And this fan theory goes on to explain that Tyrion made a deal with Cersei.
mm,
Okay, I
And
have heard
part of
this.
that deal
mhm,
was to lie about going up to the north when really he wants to protect the Lannister next generation because he really doesn't care about Cersei, so to say, but he obviously cares about her kids. And he made a deal that she will stay behind, make sure that the next generation is still around, and sort of actually totally betray Daenerys, which goes back to a long, long prophecy when she was in Karth that she will be betrayed 3 times.
yep, yep. I've
And
heard
it's like,
that too.
Oh
oh man,
shit! See, I
that's
keep
rough.
thinking the third betrayal is well. I don't know if it. I mean, and it would be considered a betrayal to her, but I keep thinking Jamie's going to put her down. Like, and this leads back to her being pregnant. Do you guys think she's actually pregnant?
I didn't at first, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. And the third betrayal is Daenerys, not Cersei.
Yeah.
You think so?
No,
Well, that's
Cersei.
what the prophecy on Karth was.
Yeah, the Karth prophecy was that Daenerys would be betrayed 3 times and her heart will be broken 3 times. So I agree with that fan theory of Tyrion being that third betrayal. How that's going to happen, I'm not sure. Now, if we're
Yeah.
talking about prophecies, also let's talk about Cersei's prophecy. Remember, the witch that
Yeah.
cursed her said that all her kids would die, and the youngest brother will be the one that kills her. And so, for the longest time, she thought the youngest brother was Tyrion. That's one of the reasons why she hates Tyrion so much. But there's another fan theory out there that states that this youngest brother may be the baby that she's carrying right now. And the reason why I think this is that it would be poetic justice in the fact that Tyrion killed his mother during birth, and this new baby would kill Cersei during birth. So,
That's oh yeah,
and that
that's so
he would,
gross because she's giving
he,
birth to her own
yeah,
siblings.
yeah, and this will be the young. If this kid turns out to be a boy, this will be the youngest brother. Didn't say whose brother. The witch just stated it would be the youngest brother. She's had boys, and I thought it was gonna be Tomlin, but Tomlin ends up being a wuss. But that this last kid actually is actually a boy and ends up being the one that kills her. Then the prophecy becomes true, and then all of a sudden Cersei's dead, and she's dead because she's dead by the same hands that her mother died. So it would be kind of awesome,
Interesting.
you know?
I mean, that's pretty solid.
Yeah, exactly. So these prophecies still haven't come to fruition yet. So I'm guessing that we're going to see that in the next season because they keep mentioning it. Cersei made the reference to all the monsters being real. Like every single one of these um, monsters that we've talked about in lore throughout the whole Game of Thrones seasons have all come to fruition. So we have the Faceless Men. Baelish makes a reference to the Faceless Men. Oh, I've heard the stories, about them praying to death or something like that. Blah blah blah. They're not real. Oh shit, Arya is one of them. Then we talk about the dragons. The dragons are not real. Those are things that they told us, to get us to go to sleep or whatever. Find out those bitches are real.
Hell, the giants, the White Walkers.
Right? And the one thing they miss out of the book, which I wish they would have brought back, was the Citadel and the candle. I don't know if you guys remember that part in the books. I don't know if you've read the books or not. But in the Citadel,
remember that though.
Oh yeah, in the Citadel, there's a candle that sits in a soul room in a room that all these maesters have tried to light over and over and over and over again, right? And I believe the way it goes is when there's a meteor that passes by or a comet that passes by that signifies the birth of dragons, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this comet comes by, signifies the birth of dragons. Daenerys' dragons are born. The candle is lit then when the meteor passes and the dragon's born. This is a key indicator that some shit's about to go down in the Citadel.
Yes, and magic has come back. I remember
magic has come back to Westeros. And that is one part that has been left out because if you read it in the books, you're like, oh shit, there's a bunch of other stuff that's getting ready to come down the pipeline. And we don't get that here. We don't get this whole magical sense. In fact, the series leaves out a lot of magical references outside of Benjen. Was it Benjen? Benjen's the uncle, right?
Yeah.
Benjen mentioning that the wall has magic in it. It's just not a wall. It's magic based in its foundation or something like that.
And the only other big one is Melisandre killing Renly. And I only know it because we just rewatched it. I'm like, okay, that's the other magic, but there really isn't tons of magic.
Yeah, that was it.
Her fart ghost thing.
yeah. Her queef ghost.
The queef demon.
Yeah, queef demon.
Yeah, that was some shit.
Although I forgot, she does have that thing where she's ancient.
Yeah.
And then that's forgotten and not been addressed again.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's the thing, though. It's like, we get Varys. Varys talks about the magic that men don't know about, where the Red Priest did to him. We have Melisandre. So pretty much the only magical elements we have are the Red Woman, and that's it. And now, the White Walkers too. One of the key pieces that I liked was the gate on the wall. I don't know if when you guys read the books, Samwell Tarly lets Bran through the wall.
Yeah.
But it was a weirwood door at the base of the wall, underneath the wall, that he let Bran and the rest of them through. And in order to get through this wall, you had to speak the Night's Watch's oath in order for the door to open.
Oh.
And it was an awesome piece to read. And I was like, fuck, I wish they would have put that in there because that would have added to that magical element of the wall. It wasn't just, anybody can just get through. It was like you had to be part of the Night's Watch. You had to know the words. And the door opens for the people on the Night's Watch. And that's where, they get through. So, there's a lot of things they were missing. Hopefully we'll get the chance to see some more of it in next season. But, overall, I thought season 7 was okay. I don't have any complaints for sure. There was enough fan service, I guess, to really get me pumped about it.
I was fucking down with it, and I'm irritated I gotta wait so fucking long for the next one. But the cool thing is by next spring, I'll be like, fuck yeah, Westworld's back. And then Westworld will end on this, the holy shit moment, and then it'll be like, see you in a year. I'm like, no, fucking stop doing this to me.
Exactly.
I gotta say, I like this season, mainly because I still remember season 5, and I thought that was awful as they were ending the book and show source material. I did question at times, like, there is a lot happening and happening quickly. And I think that was a joke with everybody. It's like, damn, those birds fly fast. Oh, my God, that
Right.
boat sails really fast. Well, those dragons are fast. Damn, Gendry ran very fast and far.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but I'm entertained. And it's not like book 4 or season 5 where, dear God, get somewhere, do something, please.
Oh
'Cause
man,
this is
book
so
4 was, oh my
boring.
god, like,
That was tough.
yeah.
Painful.
Well, I
It was
think
almost
my
like
favorite, inconsistency that I saw online, because I didn't think about it for a second, but as soon as I saw it come up, I was like, all right. But when it was like, where the fuck did the Night King get those chains from? Like,
Yeah.
to pull the dragon out of the ice. I'm like, all right, yeah, that's a good one, because those are huge. Like, where did they come from?
Yeah. Yeah. What shipwreck did he pull those from in the middle of the forest?
And he's just like, I'm the fucking Night King. Don't ask questions.
Don't ask questions. I got resources. I know people.
I know a guy up here. He's got these
I
chains
know.
hanging around.
Yeah.
That's one scene we didn't talk about that I wanted to bring up real quick. What about Theon?
Oh,
his
when he
fight.
fucking.
Oh.
I did think it was a little ridiculous that it was like, oh, I'm going to punch him in the balls. And he's like, ha ha, got none. Like, to me, it was a little like, all right, well, okay. I get it. Still hurts, but I get it. It's not the blow that the guy thought it was going to be.
The blow.
The blow.
Well, the other thing is if Cersei's telling the truth, though, he's going to head down there and
He's fucked.
yeah, like they're not like posting up. They're ready to come back and
Right.
fuck shit up. Fucking
Well-
the Bam Margera of Westeros.
Well, let's keep in mind though, that, like, Daenerys' old boyfriend runs the gold company now. Remember
Oh,
when she
shit.
left?
I was wondering where he went because we haven't seen him forever.
Oh
Well,
shit! I forgot about that.
Yeah, Dario went and killed all the generals from the Golden Company. Now he's like, they're mine. That was Dario 1.0. Then Dario 2.0.
I like
When-
1.0 better.
Yeah, 1.0 is better, but Dario 2.0 was subbed in so he looked like Jon Snow and gave Daenerys a type.
A type.
Yeah. So remember when Daenerys left, and in the books too, they mentioned it that she leaves Marine to him,
Yeah.
and is like,
Okay, so that's
No.
where he.
yeah, that's where he is.
Because I literally the last I remember him was with Jorah, and then she sort of told Jorah to go find a cure, and I'm like, well, what happened to Dario? I don't remember.
They had a breakup. They broke up, and
Right, I
that's
couldn't be with him.
right, and that was right before she made Tyrion the Hand.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I totally could not remember what the hell happened to him.
Yeah, so he's in Marine chilling. So what would be awesome is that it's kind of like that Braveheart moment when it's my island.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would love for that to happen though, because Cersei, like, she really thinks like, well, I got this all figured out. Like, I don't need to help anybody with shit. And then
Yep.
she's gonna show up, and it's well, because the other thing too is you have to figure if they stop the White Walkers in the north, they're gonna turn around and be like, "Where the fuck were you at, lady?" Like,
exactly.
now I got these
Exactly.
2 dragons and all these people. You're fucked.
Yeah,
But that's where
And
they set this up perfect with her outwitting Tyrion with Casterly Rock
Mhm.
and then Highgarden. And obviously she didn't explain any of that, so we got it live as Tyrion got it.
Mhm.
And it was like, oh my God, she's really a strategist. But now she's explained it. It's like, yeah, I'm with you guys. I think it's going to backfire and she's going to get fucked.
Yeah.
that's,
I mean, if
It's-
we're lucky, but as hopeful as I get with these like fan theories of how I want the show to end, I keep remembering he's killed everyone I've cared about. So I'm like, it could happen. Cersei pulls a fast one, and it ends with her flipping everybody off. Like,
Right.
could happen. That's also
I do
why I
have-
think Daenerys is gonna die.
Do you guys know, because I don't remember the books, how did Robert, like who told Robert that Rhaegar raped, what's her name? I can't remember her name.
See, I don't think it was. I don't think it was told to him. I thought it was
Okay.
assumed because they were together.
They ran off together, and he had just assumed.
He had been with he had been with her. You know, that was like the love of his life. And when they ran off together, he assumed that she was kidnapped. And like the Mad
Right.
King was already, you know, losing his mind and doing all this shit. Like that was the straw that broke his back. He was like, "Nah, fuck this. Like now your son
Took my
took the
lady."
woman I love." And you know, it's even apparent that Ned didn't realize that either. He just was like, "Where's my sister?" And then he's like, "Oh shit! Like this
Yeah.
was a thing."
That's what I was trying to figure out. Is this something that is like you're saying, where just that's how it was assumed, or if like a Lannister, Tywin, or somebody had said, "Oh, damn, stole your girl and raped her," and now only because, like in the books, they talk about how actually I think it might be a TV show as well, where Cersei was supposed to marry Rhaegar, not Rhaegar, yeah, Rhaegar,
Yeah.
but instead it went to Dorne, and
Yep.
Tywin was backstabbed with that whole thing and felt
Yep.
pissed off.
Yeah.
So that's why I couldn't remember if it had ever come up exactly how that happened.
I
I'll have to
was
look
under
into
the,
that.
I was under the impression it was like just where is she? And it's like Rhaegar took her, and he's like, son of a bitch,
Okay.
Right.
you know. Well, because
We'll find out.
Rhaegar was married, and then he got it annulled. Who was he married
Right.
to?
He was married to the Dorne girl,
Okay,
the one who
yeah,
was
yeah,
Red
yeah.
Viper's sister,
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah.
and they had kids.
Ileana,
Yeah,
the one that
the one that's dying
events.
right now, or watching her daughter die in a cell.
No,
No, that's Red Viper's quote unquote wife.
Oh,
wife.
gotcha. Okay, never mind.
no, it was his sister. It was
Yeah,
his
it was his
sister
sister.
and
Yeah,
his-
that's why
and his
he
nieces.
wanted the revenge on the mountain.
That's the one the
Yes.
mountain
Yeah,
raped.
yeah. All right, never
Yeah.
mind.
What is that?
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm caught up.
Exactly.
What, you don't know all these relationships off the top of your head? Come on.
Dude, I got to tell you, I do think it's relatively easy to follow, but when you start getting into like the backstory of some of it, it's like, what the shit? Well, I think that was a pretty solid overview. We covered just about everything. Anybody who's listening, well, I assume if you've made it this far, you're a Game of Thrones fan, so thank you for listening to us talk about it. If not, I don't know why you listened to the whole episode, but we're glad you did it anyways. Let us know what you guys think on Facebook or hit us up on Twitter. If you have any theories we didn't go over or ideas we didn't go over, let us know. But that's going to do it for this episode. So make sure to subscribe to the podcast. Make sure to like us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. Thanks for listening, and you guys have a nerdy week.